Welcome back to our O-Level Biology 5090 Paper 1 series. In this video, we'll be tackling questions from the May-June 2016 session to help you prepare and excel in your exams. We've already covered some key questions, and now it's time to dive into the next set. Whether you're revising or just starting, these questions will give you a solid understanding of what to expect. The first question is: which statement best describes the movement of water through the stem of a plant? Is it Option A, water moves up the stem as it evaporates from the leaves? Option B, water moves up the stem as it is pushed by water entering the roots? Option C, water moves up the stem because it is used in photosynthesis? Option D, water moves up the stem by osmosis? The correct answer is Option A, water moves up the stem as it evaporates from the leaves. This is because the process, known as transpiration, is vital for the plant's water transport system. When water evaporates from the leaves, it creates a negative pressure that pulls more water upward through the stem from the roots. This is essential for moving nutrients and maintaining the plant's health. Options B, C, and D describe other aspects of water movement but don't capture the primary mechanism used by most plants for moving water through their stems. B refers to a different process, C is about photosynthesis but doesn't explain water transport, and D is about osmosis, which is not the main driving force here. The next question is: how does the rate of transpiration change with different atmospheric conditions? Options: A, reduced wind decreases, increased humidity decreases. B, reduced wind decreases, increased humidity increases. C, reduced wind increases, increased humidity decreases. D, reduced wind increases, increased humidity increases. The correct answer is A, reduced wind decreases, increased humidity decreases. This is because when wind speed decreases, there is less air movement to remove water vapor from around the leaf, so transpiration decreases. Similarly, when humidity increases, the air is closer to saturation with water vapor, reducing the gradient for water to diffuse out of the leaf, which also decreases transpiration. In this question, let's analyze how oxygen concentration affects the uptake of nitrate ions by root hair cells. The graph shows that as oxygen concentration increases, the rate of nitrate uptake also increases. What can be concluded from this information? Options: A, nitrate ions enter the root hair cell by active transport. B, nitrate ions enter the root hair cell by osmosis. C, nitrate ions leave the root hair cell by diffusion. D, nitrate ions leave the root hair cell in low oxygen concentrations. The correct option is A, nitrate ions enter the root hair cell by active transport. This is due to the increase in nitrate uptake with higher oxygen levels suggests that active transport is occurring. Active transport requires energy, which is produced through cellular respiration that depends on oxygen. Thus, the higher oxygen concentration facilitates increased nitrate uptake by active transport. The next question is: what is the main cause of water moving up to the leaves in xylem vessels? Option A, active transport. Option B, evaporation from the epidermis of the leaf. Option C, evaporation from the walls of the mesophyll cells. Option D, use of water in photosynthesis. The correct answer is Option C, evaporation from the walls of the mesophyll cells. This is because water moves up through the xylem vessels primarily due to the process of transpiration. Specifically, it's the evaporation of water from the walls of the mesophyll cells in the leaf that creates a negative pressure. This pressure helps to pull more water up from the roots through the plant's vascular system. While active transport and the use of water in photosynthesis are important processes in plants, they are not the primary drivers of water movement in the xylem vessels. Similarly, while evaporation from the epidermis does play a role, the mesophyll cells are where the key evaporation occurs. The next question is: at which labeled point is the pressure highest? Options: Point A, Point B, Point C, Point D. In the diagram, blood enters through point D and exits through point A. Let's break down each point. Option D, point D is where blood enters the capillary network from the arterioles. Since this point is closest to the arterial system, it experiences the highest pressure due to the proximity to the heart and the high-pressure arteries. Option C and Option B, these points are within the tissue fluid. As blood flows through the capillaries and into the tissue fluid, the pressure decreases. This is because the resistance in the capillary network causes a drop in pressure as blood moves away from the arterial entry point. Option A, point A is where blood exits the capillary network and moves into the venules or veins. By this stage, the pressure is much lower compared to the entry point because the blood has lost pressure moving through the capillaries and into the veins. To summarize, since blood enters through point D and this is the closest point to the arterial pressure, point D has the highest pressure among the labeled points. Therefore, the correct answer is point D. In this question we are exploring factors related to coronary heart disease, or CHD. Let's look at which factors decrease the risk of this condition. Here are the options. 1. High blood pressure. 2. High intake of fruit and vegetables. 3. High intake of saturated fats. 4. Low blood cholesterol. 5. Low intake of processed foods. Which factors actually help lower the risk of coronary heart disease? A. 1, 2, and 3. B. 1, 3, and 5. C. 2, 3, and 4. D. 2, 4, and 5. The correct answer is D, 2, 4, and 5. As consuming a high intake of fruit and vegetables, maintaining low blood cholesterol levels, and eating fewer processed foods are all associated with a reduced risk of CHD. In contrast, high blood pressure and high intake of saturated fats increase the risk. So, focusing on a healthy diet with plenty of fruits and vegetables, low cholesterol, and minimal processed foods can significantly support heart health. In this question we are exploring the functions of veins in the human forearm. Let's clarify some common characteristics of these veins by evaluating some statements. 1. Carries oxygenated blood. This statement is incorrect for veins in the human forearm. Veins in the forearm typically carry deoxygenated blood back to the heart. The only exception is the pulmonary veins, which carry oxygenated blood from the lungs to the heart, but this is not applicable to the veins in the forearm. 2. Has valves. This statement is correct. Veins, including those in the forearm, have valves. These valves are crucial as they help to prevent the backflow of blood, ensuring it moves in one direction towards the heart. 3. Blood is returning to the heart. This statement is also correct. The primary function of veins in the forearm is to transport deoxygenated blood back to the heart. So, putting this all together, the correct set of statements for veins in the human forearm is, they do not carry oxygenated blood, they do have valves, and they do carry blood back to the heart. Thus, the accurate answer is option C. The next question is which statements about arteries are correct? 1. All arteries carry oxygenated blood. 2. Arteries carry blood at high pressure. 3. All arteries carry blood away from the heart. Your options are A. 1 and 2 only. B. 1 and 3 only. C. 2 and 3 only. D. 1, 2, and 3. The correct answer is C, 2 and 3 only. Here's why. First, let's address statement 1. It's not entirely accurate to say that all arteries carry oxygenated blood. In fact, the pulmonary arteries are a key exception, they carry deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs. Moving on to statement 2, this one is correct. Arteries indeed carry blood at high pressure. This is due to the force with which the heart pumps blood into them, and their thick, elastic walls are designed to handle that pressure. Finally, statement 3 is also correct. All arteries have the important role of transporting blood away from the heart, regardless of whether the blood is oxygen-rich or not. So, putting it all together, the accurate statements are that arteries carry blood at high pressure and always transport blood away from the heart. Moving forward now, let's analyze the state of the heart valves at time x during a heartbeat. First, consider the question, what is the state of the valves in the heart at time x? The options are A. Left atrioventricular valve closed, semilunar valve closed. B. Left atrioventricular valve closed, semilunar valve open. C. Left atrioventricular valve open, semilunar valve closed. D. Left atrioventricular valve open, semilunar valve open. To determine the correct answer, we need to understand the typical pressure changes during the cardiac cycle. At time x, if the pressure in the left ventricle is higher than in both the left atrium and the aorta, this suggests the following. Firstly, The left atrioventricular valve, bicuspid valve, is closed to prevent blood from flowing back into the atrium. Secondly, the semilunar valve, in the aorta, is open, allowing blood to be ejected from the left ventricle into the aorta. Thus, the correct state of the valves at time x is B. Left atrioventricular valve closed, semilunar valve open. This configuration aligns with the typical heart function during ventricular contraction. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more educational content. If you have any questions or need further assistance, feel free to leave a comment below. See you in the next video.